Hey folks, this is Jasmine and you are watching M&J Games. Today I'm showing you my third episode of my hard challenge park in Planet Coaster. So a lot of the things that I'm doing in this video are kind of working with the details and the scenery, and we're going to get into my entrance to the park and where I'm kind of like fleshing it out and also trying to update the roller coaster that I built because I really wanted it to be like a firehouse sort of deal. And so I add a little more to the scenery on that to kind of make it seem more on theme. So right now in this part, I'm just trying to come up with like a little planter to go in the middle of my plaza section, and a lot of the things that I'm doing in the video are pretty tedious. It took me it, this this video is almost an hour, but it probably represents about 3 hours of actual gameplay. I've sped up the time about 4 times, I think, just because it was such a I was playing for so long. And this is actually two different sessions of me playing, so this is not me playing all the way through in one sit down. Um, yeah, so a few things that I'm trying to figure out are like, how do I want the feel of my park to be? I feel like a lot of the time when you're playing Planet Coaster, it's really about how you want the guests to experience the park and how you want the park to feel. And so, I don't know. It's one of those things that like I like to have an idea before I start building, but obviously on these challenge parks, you're kind of just you're trying to do what you can with the limited amount of money that you have. And so, one good thing in this episode is I actually start making a profit from my first coaster, which is really good. And it really becomes more stable as money wise. So I'm able to do some more things. I'm able to kind of get more into the details on the existing rides that I have. So for this one, this hyper jump, um, I wanted to add a queue cover, and then I kind of had the idea to kind of make it like a rainbow type deal, just because of the colors. And I do eventually change the colors a little bit, but it's still basically like kind of rainbow colors. So and that's one thing that I normally I wouldn't do as far as like using a bunch of different colors, but I just thought it was kind of cool. And I grab, I think these are, uh, I think there's ceiling pieces or something. There's some kind of pieces that they look like a rainbow, and I didn't change those at all. But I just use those as inspiration for the queue and for this ride. So, but you'll see that in a second. And so another thing that I have noticed playing Planet Coaster is I only just realized this like a few weeks ago is that the columns, like some columns, you can build them on the grid, and then some of them are not on the grid. And I like obviously I can see it now, like in the menu. If you can build it like where it snaps to the grid, it has a little grid behind the behind the column, and like in the little menu, like the picture. And I was just like, I only realized that a few weeks ago, and I was like, wow, I did not realize that. So maybe you're like me and you just don't you're like confused and you're like, why do some of these snap and some of them don't? It actually tells you in the menu. But those are like little things like playing the game that you wouldn't know until you like were actually playing it. So um yeah, so still building this out. And you'll see I add like the little ceiling pieces, and I'm just trying to like make this as straight as possible. And actually, like, so My husband Michael, he actually showed me how to like add and like another section of the ceiling part, roof or whatever. And anyway, it gets more built out. So like this doesn't actually show like the final result. So maybe it might be on my next video. I'm not sure, but yeah, so where I add like another layer of the ceiling, and so it's a little bit wider, and the columns, the columns are more oh, I don't know. It's just more fleshed out. I'm not even like saying it correctly, but you'll see eventually what it looks like. So anyway, yeah, but like my budget's doing pretty good. So I added some more scenery and some more trees and stuff, and um but I think so one thing that I need y'all's help with is figuring out what to call my park because I still have no idea. And um, you'll see from like the entrance when I designed the entrance, it's kind of like a modern type rustic sort of deal. And I don't know, but a lot of the buildings that I'm using, like the type of buildings are like they're like brick, but then like my entrance building is like moderny sort of with some brick mixed in. I don't know. You just kind of have to like see it. But if you have any ideas, I feel like this park would be one that would be found in like northern America or like not I said northern America. Obviously North America, but I was thinking more like northeast. It could potentially be somewhere in like northwest, like Washington State or something, just because of the trees, and I have like sort of evergreen trees, but I also have like some like oak trees and stuff. But anyway, if you have any ideas, throw them out there, leave me a comment, and I will consider them. Yeah, so I'm going back over here and I'm trying to make this look more like a firehouse. Um, One thing about this like firehouse brick that I use, like there's nothing that's actually like a firehouse like the doors, like the I guess they're garage doors, but whatever those doors are that you would see where like a fire truck would go through, like they don't actually have that. So I'd have to like build that out. And I was thinking about possibly leaving an opening at the bottom of the station and then trying to have the fire truck in there. But then I was like, but that kind of looks weird if I have like that at the bottom and then like the roller coaster on top. So I ended up just placing this fire truck here, and I'm still not super happy with that. Also, who decided to like have these cars without wheels on them? Like, it's just it's so annoying to me. I know I should be appreciative of the cars and stuff that they added with the pack, like the studio pack and the Ghostbusters pack, but I'm like, why would I not want cars with wheels on them and cars without lights on them? Like it's kind of weird to me, but whatever. Um okay, maybe here I might yeah, I think here is when I add like the little rainbow. Yeah, like the so these ceiling pieces, I didn't change the color at all because I really liked how it was working. And then I had to adjust my settings so that it would let me build those actually in the ride because I rarely ever actually do that. I don't know if you've seen any of my other parks. I'm only just now getting into actually placing like ceiling pieces and stuff so that you don't see the queue anymore. And I'll probably am gonna have to go back and take off the queue railings and the curb because I didn't realize that you could do that. So I probably will do that eventually. So then the railing won't be there anymore. Yeah, so this part I'm adjusting the settings so that I can add those underneath the ride so it all kind of looks cohesive. All right, so now I'm back to placing those rainbow ceiling so I can place them underneath the ride, and I'm trying to figure out how I want the boundary of this little ride to be so I can place a fence. Um, yeah, so then I changed the colors of the ride to kind of match the ceiling, and it took me a little bit to figure out which pieces, like what colors I wanted for which pieces. So, and I don't know about you, but I like to uh, play, like actually have the game on when I'm playing, and in sandbox and in challenge mode. So like in sandbox, it's so easy to like pause the game and like do whatever the heck you want to do, or even just leave the park closed while you build everything. But in the challenge park, you kind of don't have that option because you need the money in order to keep playing. Um, so that's another part of the challenge is your rides are going to break down. You're going to have staff that quit, and you have to hire them. You have to keep them happy and satisfied. And so as I was playing this, I basically still have the same rides, and so my rides were getting older or aging or whatever, and I had to like refurbish them and hire like my mechanic quit. I had to like hire a new mechanic, and so but it's that's what makes the game fun. And so but it's just one of those aspects about the challenge that did not I just didn't even think about. And but as I was playing, I was like, oh yeah, I actually have to care about this stuff. so anyway, so yeah, so I'm trying to place this little fence around here. Um, and I think I'm gonna fast forward a little bit because this is kind of tedious. So okay, yeah. So this is my little sign that I made for this ride, and I this little entrance around the corner. I thought it was so cute. It's from the Ghostbusters pack, I think, and I just thought it was a cute little sign to add to this little ride, since on the around the corner there's the entrance to my queue. So let's see. Now I'm kind of researching some stuff. I kind of have to research a whole bunch of stuff for these challenge parks because there's not a whole lot of exciting things to start off with. So another thing that I was trying to figure out is in this little like food hub building that I have, still trying to figure out what kind of colors I wanted to use, and eventually I settled on kind of a brown and mossy green type deal. So you'll see that in a second. Yeah, so I added some little planter boxes near my little food hub building, and I started playing around with those, and that kind of gave me inspiration for the main colors for my park. So I settled on this sort of brown with like mossy green and white. And so I'm going to use that for inspiration for my colors for my food hub building. And then eventually we're going to get into my entrance building where my guests are coming through, and what they would walk through as they're paying to enter the park and leave the park. Um, so as I was doing this, it took me a while. Actually, I'll be honest with you, it probably took me 2 hours to come up with how I wanted the building to look for the entrance. It was pretty tedious, and I was kind of I wasn't super happy with the food hub building that I made. It just wasn't. It's still not exactly what I am like super proud of doing, and I feel like it's just so boxy. But maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll redo it. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But yeah. So I edited the bigger planter too to match the other ones, and yeah. Yeah, so now I'm going back and changing the colors on this food hub building. I'm still keeping with the Romanesque style brick. I'm pretty happy with that, but I might go back and add some wooden pieces to make it more rustic. I'm also not sure about the ceiling because I just don't think I like that flat roof like that. Um, we'll see though. We'll see. Maybe in the next video I might change it, but the, this is where I'm at right now. If you have any suggestions on anything in the park, I'm super open to any suggestions. I will consider them and try to implement them into the park. If you have any name ideas, or even if you have any ideas on stations or queue lines or whatever, just let me know. I think it would be fun to have people make suggestions and I put them into my park. Okay, so now I'm back trying to add a little more excitement to my roller coaster. Um, I, I went through the pre built scenery buildings, just trying to figure out what sort of building I would want. And I settled on the this like dock building, and just because I thought it was kind of it had like that opening where the roller coaster could go through it, and I added like an explosion, and I added some fire, and just to kind of spruce it up a little bit and make it a little more exciting. Um, I think I do eventually want to add some water underneath because it is supposed to be like a building on a dock, like a little warehouse on the dock. And so I played around with that a little bit, but I kind of gave up because I didn't want to spend too much time on it because I was trying to go back to my entrance and stuff. So I probably will attempt to do that later on. But I think this is a pretty good start. And I also added, there's like a little special effect that's like, what is that called? Like when like little fire pieces are like falling down. I'm sure there's a word for that, but I'm blanking at the moment. But it's pretty cute. And normally I don't use these special events or special events special effects. But this is a really cute like dimension that you can add to your ride, and so I'm really happy with how that turned out. Yeah, I'm calling this ride Whirl O'Blaze. I just thought that was kind of cute. Yeah, so I added it so that the explosion goes off just a little bit before the roller, like as the roller coaster is turning into that opening. Yeah, so I'm just placing these little fire pieces over here, so it kind of looks like the building's on fire. Um, Let me know though, like, do you think I need more fire? Do you think like that one little patch is good? Do you think that I need like another building for the roller coaster to go through? Let me know because it is a little, this is kind of towards the beginning of the ride. So I could add something like in the middle, like where that hill is, or maybe towards the end. Um, Let me know. Yeah, so that was one thing. Like, you can adjust the color of your smoke, and I'm like, why would anybody need purple smoke? But I guess you know you don't necessarily have to use this for like fire. But I just thought it was kind of funny. Yeah, so right here, I'm trying to figure out if I can place water, and then I realize like when I lower the terrain, it makes it look like the building is floating. And then like the terrain wasn't deep enough to add the water in. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go back to that because it wasn't as easy as I thought it was gonna be. All right, so now I'm just trying to add some more detail over here, and I'm trying to determine like what I want this next section of my park to be. And so like this pathing system, it I probably redid this part like 3 or 4 different times. And then once I added my entrance, it was even trickier. I had to like redo the whole plaza section because some of the stuff just was not working how I wanted it to. Um, and I think that's one of the biggest complaints that people have about playing this game is that the pathing is just not easy to work with, and it should be a little bit easier than what it is. Okay, so now we're at the this part where I'm trying to figure out how I want this entrance to look, and I'm having to place it pretty close just because how I've built the park so far. Like, there's just not enough room for me to do a whole lot. So, and I did attempt to try to move everything in my park back, but it was just like, it was way too much to try to do at one time. And then I just gave up. So I'm having to, I'm keeping the entrance where it is, and then I'm just trying to, which is, I mean, that's not normally like normally I would have like 2 or 3 of those like ticket lanes for the entrance things for people to walk through, but obviously I can't do that on this. So, but it's fine. You know, that's what makes this fun is doing stuff you normally wouldn't do, and it's like forcing you to like adjust, you know? So anyway, so yeah, so I really like that sort of natural wood. I think it's called natural wood something wall piece. I'm I'm laughing at myself. But I really like how that looks, and it's like kind of rustic looking. But it's not the same as that modern wood piece. The modern wood piece is almost too clean looking to me. It's just not rustic enough. And so I really like how that looked, but I was not happy with that archway. And eventually I changed it to match the planters that I have, like the with the brick. Okay, so I took a break on my entrance and decided that I wanted to add a fast pass lane to a few of my rides. So this part, I'm adding one to my little carousel because it's kind of a popular ride. And then I at the beginning of the video, I don't think I showed you this, but I added one on my the little Ferris wheel as well. Yeah, so I'm just adding one here to my little coaster. Um, this took me a little while to do too because uh, I couldn't get my entrance and my queue to line up. And that is another sort of complaint that I have for this game is that on these fast pass lanes, they want you to place the entrance and the exit before you actually place like the queue. And so it makes it really tough. So, like, you have to know exactly how your queue is going to um, meet the entrance. And you have to start at the exit. It's a little weird to me because, like, you don't have to do that on, like, the main queue for your ride. So, I don't know why you have to do it that way on the priority queues. And then another thing is that oh gosh, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah. So like on the priority lanes, if you delete them, then like there's nothing that's like move priority entrance. You have to disable the ability for your ride to have the priority entrance, then you have to redo it. And so it's pretty frustrating if you it because like this was probably two or three different attempts for me to try to connect this, and it was pretty tedious, and I was frustrated. All right, so we're back to my entrance, and as you can see, I changed it to have with the brick, and it took me a while to figure out if I wanted that green color or if I wanted it to be mostly white. But I think I settled on that green color. Yeah, and so I'm adding back those little wooden, that natural wood pieces. Yeah, so I'm just kind of adjusting how I want it to look. It took me a while to figure out if I wanted a little uh, shop front there or what I wanted to do, but the game was giving me a bit of trouble with the path, and so I actually ended up not placing something there, and I just put another. I think I put the first aid next to my little info shop on the end. So yeah, that's how that happened. And then I also I ended up changing these like white pieces to the roof that I have because it just wasn't working how I wanted it to work, and it was too white. And then I think I toyed with having another brick there, and it just wasn't what I wanted. So it took a it was pretty tedious, and then I placed some columns too, and that was a whole other thing, trying to figure out what kind of columns I wanted. So this is the part of the Planet Coaster where your OCD kind of comes out, because it's like you have this idea in your head and it just doesn't turn out how you wanted it to. Okay, so that's basically the end of this video. On my next video, we'll get into where I build a second roller coaster, and I also add a few more rides that are hopefully a little more interesting. I really appreciate you watching. If you have any comments or suggestions on what you'd like to see in my park, please comment and let me know. I really appreciate you joining me today, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time.